What's up, Panda dudes? Peter from Panda here. Hey, just bought myself something. It's a WUBEN. I think it's a tactical penlight, if I recall correctly here. It's a 2-in-1 tactical penlight, no less. Battery, it's a rechargeable, micro USB. The switch is twisty. Obviously, it looks like it's refillable. Kind of a Parker pen refill. And you've seen a tactical... Oh, here it is. WUBEN! Showed you a little flashlight that I got from them before. Looks like you have some replacement parts, a couple of black and a couple of clear silicone O-rings, rubber or silicone. Then you kind of get it in this nice little case here. I showed you that little necklace light that they had. I like it. Micro USB cable here to recharge this little bad boy. And then you have the pen that comes in two pieces. So you have kind of the top end, the cap part, with the flashlight on this end. And the cool thing is it's pretty pen sized. Man, I'll be honest, like the construction of this is kind of blowing my mind. It's definitely a lot nicer than I thought. Maybe not that much different than a tactical pen, but I kind of expect it to feel cheap, you know, thinner. Obviously, you're putting a lot of things, and so you have to thin out the metal on the package. But this feels like a solid piece of equipment. Honestly, like the end here where the flashlight is, I feel like you could whack something with that, and it probably would be okay. And obviously, the twisting portion up here. We'll have to play with that a little bit. And then the tactical pen. And I guess that's the whole point of tactical pens in some ways, is that they are supposed to be really durable because you're supposed to break glass or stab an intruder or, you know, whip pancake batter with them. Obviously, the pen is installed here. You can see where it looks like the cap has threading and twists on over it. So what you end up having... I'm kind of becoming more of a fan of these tactical pens because there's a lot of places where you can't bring your golf clubs or baseball bats for security purposes, and you know, I mean, I'm sure they'll end up regulating pens too, but you know, there's a lot of features in this one. This clip is kind of a matte silver. Seems pretty robust, vented there, slotted there. I like how it kind of looks. It looks like it's kind of attached up here, but it kind of kicks back down, and so it's attached quite a bit lower. There's a couple of portholes you can see through the cap here, where you can see the pen, which kind of is a little funny to me because it looks like there's a little extra cap that kind of covers over the tip here, so it'll kind of keep your pen from drying out, I think. Because otherwise I would say, oh, well, having air and debris in there is going to ruin your pen. Now, there's a little, here's where one of those O-rings are. I'm assuming there's one under here, too. Let's see if this unscrews all the way off. Oh, that's the clear O-ring. So the cool thing is you get that. The light element here is LED. It's completely enclosed there. And then this is where, oh, you know what? You can replace this battery, but what's really cool about this is that's where you recharge it. So you've got a little cutout there for the micro USB. I love those. I love these rechargeable, you know, batteries that are in there because you don't have a separate slot, like a little, you know, opening with a little rubber plug that might get water debris in there. You actually have to unscrew this, but then you can recharge the battery directly. Now, my guess is that I can unscrew it here too, because I can get that battery out if I really need to replace it. And there's that second clear O-ring. So there is the battery. Okay. Oh, so here's the battery. And so this is actually, what's kind of cool, is this is just like an intermediate unit that charges the battery, which is pretty awesome. I've actually seen those where they take the battery and they put this on the battery and then case them so that they're all kind of one unit. But definitely a replaceable, rechargeable battery, lithium ion, I'm assuming, and then the cap here. And I'm sure now this cap turns on the flashlight by kind of screwing down. Yep. So you loosen it up like this, counterclockwise, and it loses that connection. But as you screw it down, you can. It looks like it's gonna, at two different connection levels, you're gonna get a 3 lumen and 130 lumen light. So if I screw it down there, okay, maybe that's the 3 lumen. And then if I keep going, boom, all right, definitely a second level. So that is awesome. I'm pretty stoked about that. First of all, the WUBEN, like I said, that WUBEN necklace light I was super stoked with because it was tiny and super bright, and this is going to be, looks like it's going to be no different. And I definitely like the fact that you actually have two levels there, all right, in terms of brightness. So what you have here is kind of this triangular shaped slotting. You kind of have these flat flutes here, which kind of gives, even though the pen is straight across, as you can see, you know, you've got some of these cuts here, which I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe just to be able to grab it like this and get good purchase on it. You've got the other O-ring there with threads here, so you could kind of, you can cap the pen on the tactical side of it. And this looks like maybe like a tungsten bit. I mean, it's pretty sharp. Boom, boom, boom. Ow. Hurts. Definitely hurts. I definitely think that this would break glass or your heart and would certainly puncture skin. So that's your tactical portion. If I flip it over here, does it screw on there? Yes, of course. Works just like a regular pen, and I'm kind of putting little dots all over me here. So, you know, the angle of the, you know, the pen end here is pretty steep because it's pretty short, right? You've got these threads here where it caps on, and they're pretty big. So if I'm holding the pen like this, I kind of feel like this is actually where I'm going to hold it, and so it's starting to make sense to me why we have 3 cuts here, because my finger, my thumb, and then the callus part of my middle finger here get a good grasp of it right on there. If I were holding it down here, these would be a little uncomfortable to get on the threads, but this is that makes some sense because this is normally this long without the threads on most other pens. So you know, this is actually pretty comfortable to write with. So I'm pretty impressed, to be honest, because it is quite usable. And I guess the other thing, from a ready state of protection or smashing glass or whatever you need to do, what am I doing here that I'm not getting that cap back on there correctly, is that otherwise this little tungsten, I'm assuming, glass breaker is always accessible, right? There's no cap on it. So you do want to be a little bit careful with it, and kind of maybe if it's in your purse or your handbag or your merce or shirt pocket, you know, you don't want to fall on it. But while the pen is sealed up here, you always are ready with it. And so, you know, God forbid you got to get someone out of a car or something, you can smash that glass. Now, the last question is, what does this flashlight look like out in the wild? So let's wait till it gets dark and then go outside and see how it does. All right, guys, so finally got night falling upon us here, and I want to just turn on my little pen flashlight, and there it is. I think this is the 3 lumens mode. So, you know, you can see there, shines things in front of me pretty well. My camera focus. And for 3 lumens, if I stand back up, I can absolutely shine a path in front of me. You know, this is definitely useful for walking. And pretty bright, obviously, as you can see. So I'm pretty impressed with that. You know, it's only a pen flashlight. And then if we twist it down even a little further here, I think we can go to the brighter setting. There we go. Wow. That's a pen flashlight, guys. That's amazing. That is freaking bright. I mean, yeah, it's not like the brightest torch in the world, but I mean, this is really bright. And obviously it lights up everything in front of me really, really well. But even going out, you know, I'm illuminating things out there that are probably 30, 40 yards with light that is usable. I can identify things, you know, if I look a little closer out here, you know, to the 5, 10 yard, very usable. But even further out than that, I could see and identify people or animals. That's for sure. So really cool, and obviously far more useful than just the flashlight. You know, that window breaker, etc. on there, but pretty cool. I really dig this thing. If you want to check one out for yourself, I'll put a link to it in the description, but I'm going to use this thing, man. It's a pen. I can write with it and break windows with it and illuminate things in the dark. Peter Von Panda, out.